Hi, everybody. Todd Harold here, representing the Burnt Toast Show. Wanted to let you know that we're taking the week off this week, um, and I invite you to check out the 5 episodes that we've done so far. My production crew, which consists of my wife Mindy, who does all of the editing and graphics and keeps me in line. Don't touch your face. Don't say things like that. She's got a big job because um, look at me. But anyway, the she's gotten a little burnt out. It would be great if you get a chance wherever you're seeing this at. If you get a chance, if you're digging the graphics and the editing and the whole package, because it's not just me talking. It's not just me being Todd Harold and sort of vibing. Um, Make a comment. Mindy would love to see that, I'm sure. But anyway, she's done a really terrific job. I really appreciate everything that she's done, and I want to make sure that I acknowledge her contributions. But it's been a very long week this week. It's been a very long month, um, and we've gotten this off the ground. We definitely want to hear more from what uh, people think and what people would like to see or like to hear or whatever. I do want some feedback because we're not going back to the radio. I did the radio. Now we're doing this. Um, I've got some more. We've got a really great show for you next week. This week we're just taking the week off, and then we're back next week. I've got a really great interview coming up. Actually, I've got 3 or 4 interviews lined up. This is going to be a really cool thing that I'm going to get to do. We did an interview a couple weeks ago with Tony Leone, the drummer from Little Feat, which was just a wonderful experience for me. Tony was very positive about it and was into it, and I thought it was a great interview, and it was a wonderful opportunity, and I hope you check that out. The playlist thing, that's the way we're doing it now. I could do like a Facebook Live. We're very worried about like music licensing. That's a real thing, and getting the channel taken down because we haven't done what we're supposed to do. So we're still working on that. That's the playlist thing. If you can get an ad blocker or YouTube Premium, which isn't that much, that helps with this kind of. It just helps in general because social media and YouTube are kind of a cesspool of ads and crap, aren't they? But anyway, um, we got a big show for you coming back up. Coming back next week, we got a big show for you coming up for you. I've got some new releases. We've got an interview. Working on a lot of stuff. I'd like to thank my friends that have helped me get in touch with people um, as far as interviews go, and I'll make sure that I talk about them a little bit when we get to the interviews, because this has been a community thing, and I want to make sure that we create a community, the Burnt Toast Show community. That would be very cool, and that involves you. So if there's anything you want to talk about, let me know what it is. This is a very informal video. I'm completely unscripted here. I do want to acknowledge um, some people who passed away recently. I want to make sure that those folks get acknowledged because you might not see this anywhere else. Mingo Lewis, the first one, James Mingo Lewis, who passed away last week, was the percussionist, keyboard player, composer who first came to most people's attention on Santana's Caravanserai album, which I have right here. I just happen to have it right here. I'm going to hold it up in front of my face, and there it is. 1972, Santana, the first of his spiritual albums, stepping away from mass popularity and into more jazz, spiritual jazz kind of thing. And Mingo wrote some of that and was a very active member of Santana at that time. Later, he was returned to Forever when Chick Corea first added electric guitar. He had Steve Gadd on drums and Mingo Lewis on percussion. There's some great recordings of live recordings of Mingo with Return to Forever. And then he was with Al Di Meola. The first song on the first Al Di Meola album is a Mingo Lewis composition. The album is called Land of the Midnight Sun, and the song is called The Wizard. Mingo was very active and very involved in those early Al Di Meola albums, and really kind of contributed a lot to the sound. I think Al would agree with me on that, perhaps. But anyway, the after that he did a really terrific album, great fusion album, Flight Never Ending, 1976, and that is Mingo Lewis and His Hair. Can you see that? That's Mingo Lewis and His Hair from 1976. Really, there's me touching my. I'm going to touch my face now. But cool album featuring a drummer that was with Zappa in the '80s, Dave Logeman, between Vinnie Colaiuta and Chad Wackerman. But a very you can hear that they're not everything is super slick, but they're going for it. And it's a really cool album. Flight Never Ending by Mingo Lewis. We also need to acknowledge. Mingo also played with the Tubes. I saw him with the Tubes a couple of times, and he was great with the Tubes. They were great. Tubes are a great underrated band. Next, we have Ralph Towner, who passed away last week at the age of 85. Ralph Towner first came to people's attention with the Paul Winter Consort, a song that's now considered a standard called Icarus. He was also with the group Oregon and did a couple of really, really great ECM albums, the German label that was founded by the great producer Manfred Eicher. Quintessential ECM albums. They really sound, they have that ECM sound. In particular, the album Solstice, with Ralph Towner on acoustic guitar and piano, Jan Gabarek on saxophone, Eberhard Weber on the bass, and John Christensen with the greatest sounding ride cymbal of all time playing drums. And then he had another album on ECM later that they used to play on the local NPR station back in the day, called Old Friends, New Friends. That was really, really great stuff too. Ralph Towner. And finally, the reggae drummer Sly Dunbar passed away last week at the age of 72. Sly did a lot of really cool stuff. He played he's the drummer. He and Robbie Shakespeare on bass were not only a formidable rhythm section, one of the great rhythm sections of all time in reggae, but they were also producers. They produced the Black Uhuru albums back in the early 80s that were very popular. They played on Legalize It by Peter Tosh, one of the all-time great reggae songs. They played on those Grace Jones albums that were popular back in the day. There's a Marianne Faithfull album that they played on. Sly was very involved with Material, Bill Laswell and Material. I played a song a couple of weeks ago on one of the playlists. Nona Hendrix, Transformation, that's Sly Dunbar. Sly Dunbar, I believe, is the drummer on Genius of Love by the Tom Tom Club. He's on this great Joe Cocker album from '82 called Sheffield Steel. Did a lot of really great stuff, great drummer. And we want to make sure that we acknowledge all three of those. And I'm sort of getting away, get this going on too long. But thank you for tuning in. If you want to comment on anything, I welcome that. You're going to see this on Facebook or you're going to see it on our YouTube channel. And I just want to say thank you for tuning in. And we'll be back next week with a big full show with an interview that you'll dig the most. And thank you. I'm Todd Harold. Thanks to Mindy one more time. Thank you.